Thank you so much for joining us today in Mathcon universe and the wonderful world of mathematics. And today, our focus will be on strategic problem solving in key concept of exponential algebraic expression. Again, our focus will be on strategic problem solving in key concept of exponential algebraic expression. So let us get started right away. Our task will be to simplify this algebraic expression. So this will be our problem of the day. So how do we go about simplifying this algebraic expression? Strategies. Step number 1. Rewrite the problem. Rewrite the problem and put it into a simpler form. Rewrite the problem and put it into a simpler form. So we're going to rewrite this problem and put it into a simpler form. That will be our step number 1 in this strategic problem solving process. So let us see. So this means that we are going to write this as 25 over 5 times x to the negative 3, x to the negative 3, all over x to the 4th power times y to the 6th power all over y to the 3rd power, and then make sure we take the square of everything inside the parentheses. Now, what will be our next step in this strategic problem solving process? So our next step will be step number 2. Step number 2. Step number 2. Step number 2. Step number 2 will be to use the law of exponent. Use the law of exponent. Law of exponent number 2. What is the law of exponent number 2? Well, let us see. It says that if you have x, where x is any real number, and m is an exponent, and you divide it by the variable x, where x is also any real number on the number line, and raise it to power n. In this case, m and n are integers on a number line. I repeat, the x is any real number on the real number line, and the m and n are integers on the real number line. So if we have this set up, according to this law of exponent number 2, this will be the same thing as x to the m minus n. This is known as the law of exponent number 2. So let us apply this law in simplifying the entities in this parenthesis. So we already know that 25 divided by 5, of course, will be 5. Now, using the law of exponent number 2, note that we are able to write the x to the negative 3 over x to the 4 as x raised to the power negative 3 minus 4. I repeat, using the law of exponent number 2, we're able to express this second entity in the parentheses, x minus 3 divided by x to the 4 as x minus 3 minus 4. So what do we do next? Our next goal, of course, is to do the same thing with the next entity, namely y to the 6 divided by y to the 3rd power. According to this law of exponent number 2, this will be y to the 6th power minus 3. Y to the 6th power minus 3. And then, of course, we have to take the square of everything inside the parentheses. So that means that this will be equal to what? We have 5, of course. So what is negative 3 minus 4? What is negative 3 minus 4? Well, negative 3 minus 4, of course, will be negative 7. So therefore, we'll have x to the negative 7. Our second entity in the parentheses will be x to the negative 7. So what is 6 minus 3? What is 6 minus 3? Well, 6 minus 3, of course, is 3. So therefore, we're going to have y to the 3rd power. Then again, we must take the square of everything inside the parentheses. So what will be our next step in this strategic problem solving process? What do we do next? How do we go about simplifying this expression? Well, we are going to use another law of exponent. We are going to use another law of exponent. So that will be our step number 3. What law of exponent am I talking about? This will be the law of exponent number 4. So use the law of exponent number 4. What does this law say? What does it say? It says that if you have x m times y to the n, and you take a power t of this product, you have a product inside the parentheses, namely x to the m times y to the n, where again x is any real number, y is any real number, and m and n are integers. And of course, t itself is an integer. This law says that you can distribute the power, known as law of power distribution. So that will give us what? X to the m times t times y to the n times t. So we are going to use this law of exponent number 4 in solving this problem. We're going to use this law in solving this problem. So let us go ahead and apply this law of exponent right now in solving or simplifying this problem. So that means we're going to have what? Notice this 5 can be expressed as what? 5 to the 4th power, so we can put 1 here without any problem. So this 5 is the same thing as 5 to the 4th power. So now, using law number 4 of exponent, we can now distribute the 2 strategically. So we're going to do what? This 2 times 1, and then again this 2 times negative 7, and then this 2 times 3. And that will give us what? 5 raised to power 1 times 2 and x to the negative 7, and of course we're going to raise that to power 2 again, so that will be what? X to the negative 7 times 2. So we are multiplying again the negative 7 by 2. So the next thing we have to do will be what? Take the 2 and multiply the 3 in the exponential expression y to the 3rd power. And that will give us what? Y to the 3rd power times 2. So if we simplify this particular expression, we are going to get 5 to the 2nd power times what? Times what? Times what? X to the minus 14 power times y to the 6th power. So what will be our next step in this strategic problem solving process? Our next step to finish the problem, of course, will be to change this negative exponent connected to the variable x to a positive exponent. How do we do this? Well, we are going to use a definition from the law of exponent to accomplish this purpose. So that will be our step number 4. Use the definition connected to the law of exponents. What is this definition? Connected to the law of exponent. It says that if you have x is raised to negative t power, where x is a real number not equal to 0. Notice x cannot be 0 here. X not 0. And t is an integer. So this is the same thing as what? 1 over x to the t power. I repeat, this would be 1 over x raised to power t. So, using this definition connected to the law of exponent, we can now be able to solve this problem. So this means that we now have 25, 5 squared, that's 25. And now the x negative 14 can be written as 1 over x to the 14th power times y to the 6th power. And this will give us what? We can now write this as what? 25 over 1 times 1 over x to the 14th power times y to the 6 over 1. Finally, we can now write this as what? As what? Using the law of fraction, fractional multiplication, we can now write this as what? 25 y to the 6th power all over x to the 14th power. And this will be our final solution for this problem. And I hope you have been able to learn some lesson about what? About simplifying exponential algebraic expression. And I would like to encourage you to continue to practice this type of problem more and more. And as you do so, you will be able to continue to build a strong knowledge base in mathematics, and of course as well as in algebra. And in addition, you will continue to build a strong and powerful problem-solving confidence. Until next time, goodbye.